Welcome to SOKY Sports Talk, covering all youth, middle school, and high school sports, local scores, interviews, and special guests for all aspects of youth sports reaching Warren County and surrounding areas. Welcome, Southern Kentucky sports fan. I'm your host, Nathan Perkins, and this is SOKY Sports Talk. This is our pilot intro show. We will actually put this one out. And again, I'm your host, Nathan Perkins. To my left, we have my co-host,
Drake Perkins.
And then we will have a special guest who is in the house but not around, of Owen Perkins, who will be our special guest and our third co-host. We would like to welcome you to our initial show. This show, to give you an idea of what we are about, is we have decided that we're going to do a little discussion and stuff about youth and high school sports in the SOKY area, which includes, what's that area we talked about?
Warren County, Allen County, Barron, Butler, Logan, Edmonson County, and Simpson County.
So those local areas, anywhere, I guess it pretty much touches
Warren County.
Yeah. And we have a lot of conversation in our household.
Yeah, we do.
A lot about youth sports, and that's because we're very active and in keeping up with a lot of the sports that go on. But we have realized that there is a lot of sports that are not noticed, that are not discussed, that are not being looked at. And we're going to cover the typical, high-profile sports: basketball, baseball, football. With soccer becoming as big, but we're looking at discussing and just talking about local sports and stuff that's at it. Now, we will warrant everybody. There will be a lot of items and discussions that we will have. We will go over sports scores from Little League to East Little League. We're going to try our best. We're not professionals. There is just two of us currently, so we're going to be pretty well covered up, and we're going to also try to interview some of these kids that are up and coming. Watch out, kids that we feel we're not professionals, but we have been involved for multiple years in this area, watching and even coaching some of the kids. Yep. So we're going to try to expose some of these kids. I think that one of the things that we also would like to do is discuss some topics that may or may not be controversial, let's say, in the sports world. We have a handful of topics that we will discuss and we will bring up, and we will, again, this is an opinion show.
Yep.
We need to make sure our audience understands that this is our opinion, our discussion, absolutely. And I can promise you, fans, right out of the gate, that me and Drake will not agree on some of this. We've already sat around and had the round tables at the table, and we don't agree on some of it, but that's what it's about. It's about discussions and bringing up some uncomfortable topics at time, and sharing how we feel, and also we've got some actual special guests that we're going to bring in.
Okay.
I have a handful of people that's willing to come in and talk about youth sports, and we actually have a gentleman that's really interested in coming in and talking about recovery, youth sports training, nutrition, and that kind of stuff. So that would be another good opportunity for things. We will start to more when we get through this. We'll have more of a schedule, a layout, how this is going to work. But we wanted to get this kicked out so we could start getting some followers. Looks like currently, for you that are trying to follow us or going to follow us, we hope we have a multitude of followers. We will be on, what did we get signed up for? I think it was YouTube and Spotify currently. And then we will be sending out the link on our Facebook page that we will, in the current critic.
Yep.
Now, for our listeners, we are rookies. Now, we have a little bit of experience in kind of streaming, but we are complete rookies.
Yep.
So we ask for forgiveness up front. It will be kind of rough at times. Just bear with us, but we always look for feedback. As you can see on our intro, we have an email. That's all we have currently.
Yep.
I'm afraid to give the phone number out.
Let's hold off on that a little bit.
On the phone number. But Feel free to send us suggestions, ideas, interviews, people you'd like to hear us have discussions about, discussion topics. If you'd like to know our opinions on stuff.
Yep.
Again, remember, if you would like our opinion, most people that know me know, and Drake's not quite yet to my level.
Not yet.
But if you ask, don't expect me to sugarcoat.
No, absolutely not.
I don't do that. If you want to know, then ask. If you don't want to know, don't ask. But we'll be very respectful. We won't, and we're talking about certain subjects. We won't use coaches' names. We won't use player names. We won't use anything. We'll use generalized conversation. But if you figure it out, that's on you.
That's
totally solely on you. If you, I know who that. No, that you may not even have a clue.
Nope.
But that will be part of what we do, and we don't know how this thing's going to grow. We have an idea.
Yeah,
of how we like to see this go, but I don't think. I have a feeling it's going to. Is anything else? It's going to go different directions.
Yeah,
we have a big grand plan in our head, but we will try to keep people informed of local events, local scores, local activities. We're new to some of the sports. We talked about the other night. I don't know about yours, but me, I am really excited about trying to get involved with this high school fishing.
Yeah. When's that start? That starts in October. So.
Well, yeah. So we've got a little while to get our stuff together and get stuff going, but I'm super excited about interviewing some of these kids that come up out of the water and do weigh-ins. And, I used to fish back in the day, not like professional, like these kids, stand on the bank and fish, but now it's gotten to be where these kids are getting recruited. I really think they're going to college on these. If I'm not mistaken, they're going to college scholarships.
I think so. Kind of like the esports too. That's starting to blow up.
Yeah, we'll leave that one to you. I'm not the video gamer. I know you are.
Nah, we may let the third co-host do that one.
We'll let the third co-host. He's pretty big into gaming, but apparently, yes, there is esports. That is something that's out there new. That's kind of interesting, but not for this old man. I have no desire, so we won't discriminate. We'll talk. We'll bring it in. Yeah. But if you have anybody you'd like to, again, it's SOKY at SOKY Sports Talk at gmail.com. So if you have anybody you'd like to eventually for us to interview, talk to, get exposure. We are just trying to get this rolling and see what we can do. But to give you an idea of what and where, again, we are located in our basement.
Yep. So
you might hear some odd and end noise and sounds and stuff, but that's where we're going to start. We are more the southern tip of Bowling Green. I'm not going to give exact addresses or nothing, but
we better not do that.
Yeah, I don't think your mom would appreciate people banging on the door and calling.
No, I don't think she would either.
But southern tip of Bowling Green. We are actually in the, for those that are in this area, we are in the South Warren School District.
Yep.
We will try to not show favoritism and do a lot of that, but we do have some more contacts there.
Absolutely.
So until we get rolling, we may overly South Warren you, but I know you've got some contacts outside of the county.
I've got probably a couple in Allen County.
We do have some in Barron County that we could probably push. I don't know about Logan County. That's going to be a stretch. We're going to have to reach out to some other. But we're going to work our ring. We're going to work our little magic, our no hows, no who's, and see what we can come up with.
Yep.
We don't want to be just centered around one sport or one thing. But when it comes to time for like Little League football, I mean, those kids are awesome. I've seen those play before. Interviewing those kids will be just awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to do that.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So we have a lot of good things in the pipeline, in what we would like to do. Again, we are located in the southern part of Bowling, south tip of the city of Bowling Green in Warren County, South Warren, South Little League District. Again, we're in our basement. Our technology that we have is, I'd say we're probably at mid-range.
Mid-range, yeah.
For podcasting. So we're starting out pretty good now. We're not professionals at this by no means, as we said. So, and then, tonight is just about a little while. I will premise this. We'd have no time limit. So this show may be 30 to 40 minutes, but then if we have a deep conversational subject, we have an interview, it could go up to an hour. We're not gonna limit ourselves.
No.
But tonight will be a short intro to kind of get to know us. I know one of the things that Drake will kind of do. It's his in his wheelhouse. Is he will be going to go over scores and stuff. Do you have any scores for this week?
Yeah. Last night, there was a bunch of games in this area. So Russellville got beat by Apollo 57-49. This is boys basketball. Bowling Green beat Barron County 71-61. Edmonson County beat Metcalfe County 75-66. And then Foundation Christian Academy, which is a new-ish school here in Bowling Green, beat Hendersonville Christian Academy 68-35. Greenwood beat Todd County Central 79-27. Logan County beat Allen County Scottsville 66-44. South Warren beat Glasgow 78-53. And then Warren Central beat Franklin Simpson 70-32. Any one of those games you want to take a deep dive into?
Not tonight.
Okay.
I think tonight we'll get to go, but I did want to go over some scores. I do know from what I heard this past week, the game of the week. I'm not sure what night it is, but I'm pretty sure it's Warren Central and Bowling Green. I think they're both ranked.
Let me take a look at
within the top. So we're not affiliated, before I say this, with the Sporting Times, but those guys do a fantastic job over there. Check out their website. Check out their Facebook page. It is the Sporting Times, and those guys show those games, and I'm almost 100% positive that game will be on live streamed. So check their app out. Check their live streaming app out. Again, they do a phenomenal job interviewing, calling play-by-play games. So, again, we're not affiliated, but we will use some of their information and streaming as we, not on the air, but we will utilize that as a tool for us to have information. But, again, Sporting Times, check them out, watch them online. It's a good way, because we do. That's how we get a lot of information. We can't go from game to game to game. We know we're not going to be able to go to game to game. So, check them out.
That Warren Central Bowling Green game is Friday at 7:30 at Bowling Green. So that will definitely be a game to watch.
That will be a game that I will be watching on Sporting Times. We won't be able to make it to that game, and we are going to try to make it to some of these games. If you would like us to come to your games, not just high school, not just basketball, not just whatever, but if you've got even travel ball, because we are going to talk a lot about travel ball. We're going to talk about a lot about club sports. We're going to talk a lot about that. I have some strong feelings about that, and it's even coming from an ex-travel ball coach.
Yeah.
I did that, but I've been on both sides of the fence on both of it, with rec league versus travel, and then now that we're dealing with recruiting with Owen, there's a lot of stuff that could be discussed, and then with the NIL and all the way this whole portal. So hang tight, people. We will be discussing those because those are real subjects that I have a really high opinion on. And you may not agree with me, but you're going to hear it.
Yep. All right, we're going to go to the women's or the girls scores here. Barron County beat Bowling Green 32-25. Grayson County beat Warren East 54-45. Greenwood beat Ohio County 67-60. Logan County beat Allen County Scottsville 59-48. Metcalfe beat Edmonson County 452-45, and South Warren beat Glasgow 71-39. So
pretty roundabout scores. Nothing really that's a blowout, or anything like that. But we haven't deep dived into basketball. We're spent more of our time probably preseason getting acclimated with what we're doing, and that's other. So we promise we'll do better with scores and discussion about some of the games, and follow-ups with some of the games. But you may not get those scores every week, because we may go to Ephraim White Park and get some scores from basketball games from the little fellers. We might do that.
Yep.
We might just that's how we're going to do this. Again, we have no affiliations or no sponsors at this time. But if you're out there and you like the show, and you know somebody that would like to be affiliated, have them reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to get that out there once we get rocking and rolling and going. I guess we probably need to tell a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah, we can.
And then that people kind of understand why we're not qualified to do what we're doing.
Yeah. Just having a little bit of fun. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, we're not quite qualified for what we're doing, but I know. We got this nice little gadget we're trying to use, so we're going to incorporate that too. But yeah. So, right. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I ran cross country track for 6 years at South Warren High School. Played pee wee baseball, pee wee football, and me and you, of course, like you said, coached that travel team for 5, 6 years.
It was almost 6 or 7.
Almost
It was
six,
pushing
7 years.
7.
So I specialize in the running aspect of sports, but I obviously baseball is probably number one on my list and football number two. But I would like you talking about learning other sports. I was kind of looking. Lacrosse starts in February. That's starting to grow a big here in Warren County as well.
That is a northern sport, if I'm
Okay.
correct. That's from the north, but you are correct. It is. It's gotten pretty big down here.
So I can't wait to learn about that one. That's going to be fun to learn about.
Yeah, that would be a good first interview. So if anybody out there listening and knows a lacrosse coach that would like to set an interview, reach out. Let me know. I'm going to try to reach out. I think I'll reach out to one of the coaches and see what we can come up with.
Maybe you can get one.
Maybe they can tell us about the sport.
Yeah, like I said, that'd be cool.
And then maybe we can eventually at some point interview some of the players. But I think for lacrosse is getting big. It is growing. It's a growing sport down here in the South. It's not been a predominant sport down in the South, but I think it is becoming more prevalent. I know in Louisville, I think it's pretty prevalent in Louisville,
I think so too. I
in
think
that northern area. So,
yeah.
anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
I think that's it. How about you? Tell us about yourself.
Well, as far as being involved in sports, I've probably been, golly, how long have I been coaching you kiddos? 20,
I'd say 20.
We're going to say
years.
25 years. We'll have to start with that because
Yeah.
we started young with some of you.
Yeah.
3, 4. Now,
Yeah.
I think some of that was soccer, and
Yeah, that was her.
that was your mother. I don't do soccer. So, but guess what?
We're gonna learn it.
We're gonna learn it, and we're gonna learn how to do it. I've been around sports most of my life. My father is a huge UK basketball fan. We kind of like you with the Titans. The world stops on basketball night. Like
Game day.
Titans, the world stops here at the house on Sunday afternoon. But I've been around. I played in school. I played regular rec league basketball. Played baseball, rec league baseball, growing up, and then gave it up and went into the band aspect. Became a musician, but never gave up heart for sports.
Yeah.
I mean, that will be another discussion at some point. I didn't play, but a lot of in middle school, high school,
Yeah.
no college whatsoever.
No.
But I studied the games,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'll throw an opinion out here. Sometimes I think that the better coaches come from kids or people or players, individuals that study the game and know the game than they are that played.
Yeah.
Now there are people that play that are really good coaches, but for me, I think it's about a 60-40 split.
Yeah,
think
I agree.
I think 60% of the people that don't play sometimes make better coaches. We're not superstars because they actually study the sport more than somebody's gifted and talented and can play the sport with ease.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's my opinion, and we'll have a discussion about that longer. But back to my coaching, I've probably been coaching for 20 years between softball. Now, softball's changed since I coached, and now we got fast pitch. But it's still the premise of the game is still the same. And then flag football coached,
Yeah.
and then baseball I've coached multiple years, and then as we developed, managed travel program or club program, however you wanted to call it.
Yeah.
For
Probably travel.
6 or 7 years. We'll have another discussion later on about that, and when we get into it. But I still to this day will never say that was a bad experience.
No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every bit of it.
It was a really good experience from us. Now there are, from my perspective, being as old as I am now, there probably are things that I wish I'd known. And that's one of the things that we'd like to accomplish with this is
Yep.
to educate some people based on our experiences.
Yep.
Now we're not, again, it's our experiences. It's not nothing that's going to open anybody's eyes to anything that they probably haven't heard or seen. But I feel strongly that some of the stuff that we've experienced is very well that we could put out and really help some people. Now,
Yeah.
like I said, that was a very good 5 or 6 ever experience. and we're not going to talk about that the entire time because that tangent could be way long-winded for me because I learned a lot, and we will have a show dedicated to that, and we probably will just talk amongst ourselves. I don't know if we get at some interviews, but I still remember every kid that we worked with.
Oh, absolutely.
Good and bad.
Yep.
There is good and bad that goes along with that.
There's going to be with every sports team.
But I am a huge baseball fan. My kids know that. If you could see this basement, I mean, there is what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12.
Right. Yeah, 12.
12 broken bats from the hot rods that we were blessed to have been that we have received from players there's actually a couple on the wall that are playing for the Tampa Bay Rays at the moment.
Yep.
That are actually moved up. So, and then our basement is the man cave per se. Now we are bourbon people.
Yep.
We will probably throw that discussion out about what the bourbon of the month is and what we're partaking in. But right now, if you want to know, I'm partaking in some Coopers.
Okay.
But that's what we got going. And that's my kind of experience. I am no coach. I don't claim to be a coach. I was a mentor and educator, and in that way, I mean, you get the title of coach. But there are people that deserve the title of coach, and then I don't feel like I was a true deserving label of coach. We got the title, but for me, there's a different level of earning that title.
Yeah.
There are people that I call coach out there, and those people have earned that title.
Absolutely.
You have to earn that title to me. It's just like anything else. Like I said, I was called coach on multiple occasions. It made me feel good because I felt like that I'd mentored and educated and brought these young men to certain things. But it is a earned title to me, in my opinion. Not everybody can be labeled a coach.
No.
I mean, we use that term loosely.
Yeah.
And again, we'll have that discussion when we talk about travel ball, but that could be another discussion point for us. I think that's pretty much it on myself. I was trying to think if I ever seen anything else I was missing. I'm not going to say we're going to be very tiptoey what we say. We won't use players' names currently. We won't use that stuff. I mean, my job allows me to be involved heavily with youth sports. We'll just say that.
There you go. That worked.
That way that I don't put myself in any situation currently. And it may not do anything, but we'll eventually figure that out as we go through this. But so I'm around sports a lot, youth sports particularly. So that's enough about us. I mean, you feel free to email us. We can answer any more questions. We will read your emails online. SOKY sportstalk@gmail.com. Again, that's our email. Feel free to send us an email. Just be respectful. As we will do in this show, we will be honest. We will be open, but we will be respectful.
Yep.
And we will be, we'll do our best to be, we won't be politically correct, but we'll do our best to be, again, I ain't even going to say a family-friendly show.
No.
Because and anybody that does know, if I get excited about a subject, there will be words that will fly, and we will do our best to keep that. But I'll do my best to keep it down. But I can be very animated, and I know that. Yeah. But anything else you want to tell about yourself?
Well, I know you didn't mention this, but me and you also umpired for a year around this area, so we got to know a couple of coaches that way as well. Yeah,
that is another subject we could discuss.
Umpire, yep.
They are needed.
Yes, they are.
They're very much needed. I do like how South Little League did theirs this year. They used a lot of youth players from the local area high schools.
Okay.
But I also like how North Little League does theirs. They require behind the plate is a regular umpire, but then the field is a board member. But it's not a board member that's playing.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different ways that you can bounce it around. I have my personal thoughts, and we'll discuss that once we get to some Little League discussions again.
I think we both have.
Yeah, I have. But being behind the plate and being in the field, I can give you a lot of personal, and you as well can, our opinions how that should work.
Yep.
Some other types of topics we're going to discuss is, I wouldn't say the downfall, But I feel that the rebuild of recreational baseball, recreational football, um, that is a strong discussion for me.
Yep.
And that's coming from an individual that built a travel program and then shut a travel program down. But there is a lot of there's a lot of pros, and there's a lot of cons, and we're going to discuss those. But uh, I don't want to get into that tangent tonight. We'll save that for the other night because
Yeah.
we had that conversation a little bit at work today, and that's a good conversation. So tune in for that one.
That one will be interesting. I can't wait to hear about that one.
Yeah, and then you know, I feel strongly that if we're going to teach some of these kids, I can't wait for David Thomas. I'm saying his name out there. That's our neighbor, and David is a phenomenal, excellent individual for strength training,
Yep.
agility, nutrition for youth only. That's what he does. That's one of his primary traits and things that he does really, really well. And he does train a lot of kids. Owen has been to him for a little while, as he's helped Owen quite a bit. But I'm a firm believer, just like David is, that these kids need to be taught proper nutrition at a young age. They need to be taught proper stretching. Arm care is huge in baseball. I would even think that arm care would be huge in football for your quarterbacks.
Yeah, it is. It would be. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a football guy, but I would assume that if you're quarterback and that's like a pitcher to me. You're throwing a lot of arm movements.
Yeah.
I don't know compared to, softball. That's why the movement is the reason there's no limits on stuff.
It's a natural move.
Yeah. Whereas pitching for baseball is not.
Nope.
So that's, I'm excited to have him on, and we're probably going to have him on multiple times because he's really interested. And we have one of the reasons we started this is me and him have interesting, what I call driveway conversations.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of subjects that we talk about that I'd like to get his, discussion on if he's willing.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah.
But again, we're going to try to figure out what we're going to discuss. We'll send it out weekly. We're looking to have these conversations weekly, and then we'll post out. We're trying to post out on Thursday, right? That's the goal.
Yeah, I think it's the goal.
If we miss it, please don't be mad or angry at us. Again, we do have full-time jobs amongst us. In between Drake being home and me being home, that's why we have Owen. He may fill in for one of us, and you may have to take the show, so you might hear one or two of us recording, but we'll try to have it posted out once a week by the end of the week. And kind of going from there, but that's kind of what we're looking at doing. And please, 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 any suggestions or any topics that you want to hear, send it out. We're in the process of building kind of our agenda again, what you want to hear from us, but realize that we won't overload it with scoring and game discussion.
Mm-hmm.
We'll leave that to the professional media, watch your local TV channels for the sports discussions. Again, no affiliation currently, but Sporting Times is another good one. I think they actually have a podcast now or a post debriefing. I think I saw that the other day.
Yep.
It's really good. Those guys do a phenomenal job on that. It's interesting to hear, and it's a good place to get for information.
Mm-hmm.
So for tonight, I mean, that's kind of all we wanted to do.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think if we missed anything. Kind of an introduction. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to think of what sports are in currently. Like we said, lacrosse is coming in. Baseball. Baseball is officially somewhat getting started with open. I think their
first practice is in February. Same with softball. So,
with football or with baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah, February. They're getting close to opening fields up, starting to get ready for. I wouldn't say tryouts, but
open
fields, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
I know we talked about lacrosse. Basketball's in full swing, so unfortunately, we're probably going to miss and just give basketball scores with very minor discussions.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a gentleman that I do know from my old workplace that's heavily in basketball,
Okay.
and I would really like to have that gentleman come in and have a sit down and conversation because I'm not familiar with the travel AAU basketball,
Mm-hmm.
so I have an opinion without. Let's see, how do I say that? I have an opinion without information.
There you go.
I have my own thought, but
Open opinion, I guess.
maybe I have a thought, but I don't have any information. I just go by what I see. Kind of like now with football's a little different. I do see a lot of the stuff in football.
Mm-hmm.
With dealing with it on a yearly basis. Baseball for sure. I see it quite a lot because I'm involved quite a lot. But we forgot like the soccer and if I remember, I saw on the Book of Faces the other day was I think bowling's is bowling finishing up.
Bowling starts in October. And postseason is January to February.
That will be something else we'll do is we'll try to keep individuals on out there informed on which sports are going when from high school down to middle school and then of course down to the youth league.
Yep.
I can tell you that right now that we are in the process for the county leagues, city leagues. We are in the process of signups for baseball. So we ain't got done with basketball and baseball's right around the corner.
Yep.
And then again, we talked about, I think, lacrosse. I seen on Facebook the other day. I think lacrosse, just because we're affiliated with South Warren, I get a lot of the information. I think the girls were practicing the other day. So they have the girls lacrosse team put together. That would be a cool group to sit down and talk to.
Yeah, that would be. No, it was probably part of their open field because first practice is not until February 3rd. So they're still probably doing tryouts.
Oh, yeah, they're still. Yeah, I seen something on their Facebook page where I guess they were doing like an open practice, first open practice or something. I'm not sure what it was. And we say some of this stuff, understand, we don't know all the ins and outs of KHSAA and how it's properly supposed to work and yada, yada, yada. So a lot of what we say is assumptional.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if it's on Facebook, I'm assuming you don't mind everybody knowing.
Yes. Yeah.
You're right there. Yeah, I mean, put your business out there, it's going to go everywhere.
Yep.
I am not a proponent of Facebook. I have Facebook. I have social media, but I dislike social media.
Yeah, me too.
It's dangerous. And it's dangerous for these kids as recruiting comes about. Golly, it's so much more different.
Yeah.
Even when you were in high school.
Yep.
So, it's a good thing, but it's a very bad thing. And when it comes to youth sports, it's very, very bad. I mean, a coach sometimes can't be a coach.
Yeah.
Because I'm a hard knocks coach, and I love hard knocks coaches. Yep. I hope to have one of my favorite hard knocks coaches on this program, and I won't say his name. You know who he is. Maybe we can get him on. But he's old school.
Yeah.
And I still believe old school works.
It does. I think it does too.
I think you can look at it, whatever aspect you want to talk about it. It brings character to players. It brings respect from older individuals. It forces, and I mean forces, teamwork.
Yep.
And I don't like to use word forces, but that's lacking in today's youth and high school, say, sports. I mean, that could be a whole topic of discussion for us. And I'm writing these down in my head, and I'll eventually write these down. But there's a lot of things that I feel that we could, not that we could change it, but there's some things that that'd be a good conversation. Bringing somebody. What do you think's ruining high school and middle school and little league sports? Yep. Again, besides the obvious, we won't go into the whole obvious discussion, and we'll try to stay away from the obvious discussion, which is parents, as an umpire, as an ex-parent, player, parent, whatever you want to call it. We ruin sports. Parents absolutely are the catalyst of the downfall of certain sports. And I'm one of them. I'm a parent. I was a player parent, still a player parent, and I'm just as guilty as the next person. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm not afraid to tell you that I'm that parent as well. Why is little Johnny out there playing and not so and so? but there are reasonings and there are rules and there are stuff, and especially if you play Little League.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you want to play, we're getting off of our plan for attack for this evening, but if you want to get into the real discussion on playing, I think baseball's probably was. I'm going to be honest with you. I think baseball was the worst, but I think basketball's got to be the worst.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with you there.
I don't know soccer.
Uh,
There is club soccer.
Yeah,
I
there
think
is.
it's a little bit of political. I think with football, I know the 7v7 is taken off, but that's coming from the south up.
Yeah.
I think it's managed to make its way to Tennessee. I
Yeah.
think I think I got wind of the other day. There's a developing here in Kentucky.
Okay.
Don't know nothing about the 707, but before I speak on it, we'll get a little educated on it.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that there's a lot of difference between rec, club, a lot of difference between parents and non-parents, and it's just we'll have that discussion at some point. I think that's a topic that a lot of people would like to hear, maybe not want to hear our opinion on.
Yeah.
But I feel I have a right to be able to voice it because I'm on both sides. I've been on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
You may not agree with that, but that's my opinion.
I agree.
So that will be some of our things we're talking about. As people can see, we're trying to sell ourselves this evening of what we're going to go.
Yeah, just
Ooh,
a little
what's
bit.
coming next? What's coming next? So
Yeah.
I hope I'm doing a pretty good job. Again, we're not radio people.
Listen to the radio. So
Rock and roll. Hey, what if I got something old school that I've got to be careful of that too.
yeah.
But again, if you have any topics of conversation, I'm going to say it one more time or maybe another before we get off here. SOKYSportsTalk@gmail.com.
Yep.
Please send us some information, some items you would like to discuss, even topics, interviews. If you know somebody that's willing to come interview, send them our contact, send us out there. We'll be more than happy to reach out and talk with them, sit down and see if we can have a plan of attack, see what we can come up with, and go from there. Because we're interested in just as well the next person.
Yep.
So, I think for tonight that's a daggone 40-minute start.
Wow, that was a quick
It didn't
40.
even seem like it.
No,
So we'll probably anything else that we want to get off our chest for the evening.
not that I could think of. I think you pretty much wrapped it up there. I think it's pretty good.
And for our viewers out there, Drake's going to have to learn how to cut in because I'm a talker. I'll just talk and talk. He knows. I'm that coach at the end of the day. The parents go, well, he shut up so he can go home. That was me.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was absolutely you.
Yeah, absolutely. The parent and moms are over to me and go, we got home. Yeah, tapping on the watch. Yeah. So, and we'll get better at this. We'll get more smoother at this. We'll get more comfortable at it. So just be patient with us. Give us positive confidence feedback. Please give us negative feedback, but be respectful.
Yeah. We're
going to respect you. When you don't,
mm-hmm.
and you send us an email, then we won't say your name, but we might read it out on our podcast and have a discussion about it and be like, why in the world, what, but, and I'm not above doing that because
No.
I think that's, if you're willing to send it in, I think it's willing for us to discuss. Now, if you are very disrespectful and very colorful about me or my co-host, then we won't even entertain that conversation. How's that sound?
Yeah.
We will inside the household, but not on the podcast. I'm sure that the neighbors will know what we're talking about, but not in the podcast.
Yeah.
So I think for tonight, that's a pretty good start.
That'll wrap it up.
You have anything else?
I do not.
All right. So from SOKY Sports Talk, from your host, Nathan Perkins, and your co-host,
Drake Perkins,
we thank you for tuning in and have a good evening.
see you next one.